guys.
Guys, welcome back to the Consistency Code podcast. I'm very excited for this week's episode. Kind of a slightly different topic this week. We're going to
hmm
be discussing three things that we're each doing differently going into the second half of 2026. I know we're already like over halfway, which
hmm
is crazy to think about because
Insane.
2027, bro,
This
that's
year moved
so
so
weird
quick.
out loud. Like, it's going to be 2030 before we know
Don't say that. Let's get through
it.
this one first.
Yeah, I'm also getting over the stampede plague right now, so if I sound,
Plague is correct.
yeah, that's why my voice sounds a little bit raspy. But yeah, we're halfway through 2026, over halfway through 2026, and like I would say, not to speak for both of us, but to speak for both of us, I would say we both had a little bit of a shift in mindset in terms of bodybuilding, life in general, just how we're approaching life moving into the second half of 2026, and like not to be dramatic at all, but yeah, just like a little bit of a realization. So we're going to discuss that, and yeah, just things we're doing differently, taking a little bit of pressure off ourselves, switching things up that maybe aren't serving us anymore. So
Mhm.
yeah, we're going to be talking about what we're changing and why.
Wait. So the first thing is a really big one, I think, for the both of us that we've learned. Obviously, when you come from a prep or just bodybuilding in general, you're always taught to be on plan, be on every training program, every split. Like just it's a go, go, go thing. And if not go, 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 it's just like staying on track is very important. But we have learned the importance of not taking the off season that deeply and not saying like the off season is a break, right? It should be the opposite of a break, but realizing that the off season is not supposed to be taken that deep. I see at least a lot of posts about competitors, saying that they're on it 24/7, which good for them. That's a really hard thing to do, which we do recognize, I feel like, but at the same time, it doesn't work for everyone, right? So, personally, me, I don't want to talk for the both of us, but I will talk for the both of us because I feel like it's a general thing. In the past, when I had to miss a workout session or something because of work or this, or I have to go to a birthday, it would give me anxiety. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, it would give me anxiety because I was fresh off of getting feedback from judges and then finished my reverse and then off season, right? So my brain was just always, if I'm not taking the chance every moment I get to be better and to grow, am I stunting myself?
No, literally, me too. And I've discussed this on previous episodes before about how much anxiety and stress I would experience going into like any social situation, going like on any kind of trip, just like anything
Mhm.
that threw me out of my own kitchen, to
Yeah.
be completely honest, would like
Yeah.
spike my anxiety so badly. And it came from, I would say that anxiety came from a place of one, just like caring about my performance the next time I stepped on stage. Two, like letting my coach down and not like in the sense of not checking every single box and like being afraid of like what my coach would think of me as an athlete and what his feedback would be. And like, I always would look forward to my check-ins and like seeing the updates, and then I would worry that like if I went off plan then there wouldn't be an update. And then also just like not giving it my all and feeling like somebody else was like outworking me because I am a very competitive person. And
Mhm.
so, of course, I always want to bring my best. And I truly thought that, like, yeah, going off plan a little bit would, like, either cause weight gain. I would say that was another stress point for me, too, is like the fear of gaining weight. And I would say I've come a long way in that sense. And, like, now fully recognize and preach that like our leanest self is not our best self, and we're not
Exactly.
meant to be lean 24/7. And I am somebody who just naturally genetically like does not hold a lot of body fat. Like I like my homeostasis, like happy set point for my body is like still relatively lean, but still like 15 pounds up from 20 pounds up from my stage weight, right? So it's not like I'm stage lean year round. But I do hold like somewhat of a leaner physique. But still, yeah, the fear of weight gain was something that I always struggled with. So every time I would like leave my house to like go out for dinner or like go on a trip, I'd be like, oh my God, like how am I going to navigate this? But yeah, now like 2, 3 years later, I would say one of the biggest most important things that I've learned is how to navigate life and incorporate that balance, while still being confident that I am going to bring my best the next time I step on stage, while still being confident that I'm not going to move backwards. I'm not going to lose progress. And I honestly can use these past couple weeks as a testament to that. Like,
Mhm.
guys, this is the longest I have ever taken off the gym. And even a year ago, I would have been stressing the F out about missing 2 weeks from the gym.
Yeah.
And the reality is, your body is not going to lose muscle that quickly. It's not
Mhm.
like you just take a couple weeks off the gym and, like, boom, all of your muscle is gone, especially if you're still getting your protein in and still being somewhat active. Like, unless you're, like, literally glued to your bed, bed rotting all day, like, 0 steps a day, and not eating anything, like, it is extremely hard for your muscle to deteriorate like that. So yeah, I've gotten like a couple apartment gym lifts in over the past couple weeks, but I literally have not been to my actual gym in over 2 weeks, like 2.5 weeks now. I've done like one cardio session, and honestly, I feel like even though, yeah, my muscle bellies like definitely are not as full because they just haven't had there's no blood in them, right? I haven't pumped them. I think I kind of look better. Like, a lot of cortisol has come off my body. I think this is my body's way of forcing me to take a step back from the gym that was much needed after literally not taking more than a week off the gym ever. So sometimes, yeah, it's like kind of hard to believe, but sometimes I think your body really does just really does just force you into like taking the time off and the rest that it needs, because I've been like so go 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 for so long.
Mhm.
So yeah, moving into
Exactly.
like the rest of this year, I think incorporating, like, I hate to even use the word balance because like it can be twisted and everybody's idea of balance is different. And like, as a lifestyle client, if you're listening to this, like, and you want to incorporate more balance, like, just make sure you're not using balance as an excuse to like go off plan, because your idea of balance can be the reason that you're not making progress. But like, when you do figure out how to incorporate that, like, you know healthy, effective level of balance into your life, it can really be beneficial. And so, yeah, that's something that I'm really going to be focusing on this next second half of the year, is like not stressing about missing a workout, not stressing about going out for dinner, and like, not turning down life events or opportunities or trips or, social outings just because it's going to like mess with my day-to-day bodybuilding routine.
Yeah. Obviously, being over obsessed with anything, with any phase during the year, whether it be prep or growth season, is going to be counterproductive because it's this season of our life is about also like health, recovering, growing. So if one phase is taken more seriously than it should be, it can be draining and exhausting. So that's also like a very important thing. And it's not like a cliche to say like health over anything, because at the end of the day, the thing that's going to be taking you like further is your health, right? But with saying that, I think I also had a period where it was earlier in the year, yeah. I was in the gym 24/7, doing everything I was supposed to, but I was also ignoring signs, right? I come from a background of just immense chronic like back pain. And so after a certain point, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna feel like this forever. So why not just like push through it? But I think then pushing through it was in my head going to train as hard as you can each time, which indeed hurt me later on, right? I had to take a lot of days off the gym or a deload or whatever. And if you are in pain somewhere, your back, knee, whatever, that muscle specifically is not working at its fullest potential because other parts of your body are taking over negatively. So it's not like I'm hitting glutes, but I can feel it in my quads. It's no, I'm hitting glutes or arms and I'm feeling it in my spine. Like, that's not a good thing. Ignoring signs was a really big thing for me. And I think taking a step back from that, and if I need like physical therapy or to see a doctor, whatever, I did x-rays, whatnot, and I adjusted what I did on certain days based on that. And I'm much happier and I'm much healthier in that sense. Obviously, I still feel back pain and whatnot, but it's not at the expense of me doing things balls to the wall every time and ignoring the pain I'm in. And that taught me like when prep comes, you know what I mean? That's when I'm really gonna thrive from the mindset that I now have created. Because again, with the balance thing, like balance not as an excuse, but balance as in taking care of yourself. So that's where I think I found the balance was in respecting my body and what it's feeling, as well as honoring my protocols and what my coach wants and what I want too. So I didn't have to pick one or the other, because if I did, realistically, unfortunately, I would pick my training over getting an injury fixed. So I think kind of navigating that and fixing it was a really big thing for me, and it really helped.
Yeah, yeah, very well said. Like, your body is your vessel.
Yeah.
And if you're not taking care of your vessel, then ultimately, like, when it
Yeah.
comes to sinking or swimming, you're gonna sink. Like,
Yeah.
there's only so far that you can push or you
Yeah.
can swim with a broken boat, right?
Exactly.
So
Mm.
it's really, really important to listen to the signs and signals that your body is giving you, and like ultimately health always comes first. Like, to like kind of give my own experience off what Rutha just said, like I know I've also talked about this on here before. My hormones have been a struggle for me, honestly, for like as long as I can remember at this point, because I went on birth control at a very young age, uneducated of the side effects of the birth control pill and how it really does suppress the natural production of your hormones, because you're just pumping exogenous hormones into your body. Your body just stops producing those hormones naturally. And then, going into my first bodybuilding prep while I was still on the pill, and then coming off the pill after my first bodybuilding prep, and then not giving my body a long enough amount of time to recover that natural production of hormones before diving into my next prep, which then also, like, when you're prepping and you get to that stage of leanness again, then your body also naturally is not going to be prioritizing reproduction, so it's going to stop producing those hormones again. So I really just like dug myself this hole that I'm trying to get myself out of now. And yeah, like I still don't have a period now, or a regular period. And that's something that I'm really going to be prioritizing moving into this next second half of the year. And as a very competitive athlete, like I mentioned, like the last thing I want to do is like dial my intensity in the gym back, or take a step back from training in any sense, or, you
Mhm.
know, add more like flexibility into my diet. Like, I know what I need to do deep down in order to get my health back to baseline. Yet mentally it's hard to like take a step back. Do you know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
I've come to realize that if taking a step back means pushing my next show date forward a little bit, then so be it, because health always comes first. And like, the longer that you play around in this, like, on this thin ice, the longer that you're gonna have to spend fixing the ice and like climbing back out. So yeah, gonna take the time now to really prioritize that. And one step back always does mean two steps forward. And yeah, if you're not prioritizing your vessel, then ultimately you're just gonna sink. So yeah,
Exactly.
that's something
Yeah.
I too am focusing on. And that doesn't mean I'm not gonna be making progress. Like, you're still able to grow, even not training to ultimate failure. You're still able to make progress, but obviously it's probably not gonna be as optimal. But that being said, yeah, like health always comes first. You got to listen to your body signs. Again, lifestyle clients, that is not me telling you, oh, just like listen to your body if you need to take a day off the gym, or like listen to your body in terms of craving. No, 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 no. Like, don't use that as an excuse either, because that
Yeah.
will hold you back. But yeah, truly also don't fight the signs and signals that your body is giving you. And like, yeah, you can't argue with the numbers on your blood work. So
Yeah. And then it also, like, it takes, it's one thing for a client to understand the concept of when to pull back and when to fix things. And it does take a certain somebody to do that without letting their emotions be at play as well, because that's when the excuses come in, or this and that. So when a client does do that, you also need to at the same time have a coach who's on the same mindset as you, because as a client we're trained to be coachable and say yes and ask questions, but say yes and listen to, because at the end of the day, like, our coach is the educated one and this and that. If you have a coach that's going to tell you, like, okay, I understand that you're feeling this way or your hormones are out of whack, and they have your blood work in front of them, if I hope your coach has your blood work, by the way, please get them done for them. And if your coach is not asking you to get blood work, please fire them, because then they're just going based off of guessing and what's on the outside. And I'm sorry, like, what's on the outside does not reflect what's on the inside. But I digress. If your coach is not agreeing with you to an extent, like not agreeing like with you on everything, agreeing that your health comes first. If they're not doing that, it's time to find a new coach. We do say a lot on this podcast, if your coach is not doing this, find a new coach. But we've said what we've said is always true, you know? It's your coach needs to also be treating you like a human first, because there's no point of you growing and competing if in a year or two you're going to be done because your body's going to shut down, because what's the point in that? So if a coach is not looking after your longevity and your health and you're the only one doing that, you guys will butt heads later on, or you will just ignore your health and just listen to your coach because you're coachable, and then it might just bring a shit storm, right? So it goes both ways. And I do see like a lot of coaches who do push a lot of go, 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 push, ignore this, blah, blah. And it's, you don't always have to be hardcore. That's another one. Sorry, off topic. Hardcore. Okay. We've confused hardcore with being negligent towards your body. And I see this time and time again where coaches will have clients coming to them being like, okay, I'm done prep. What's next? Let's go, let's go, let's go. As a coach and as a client, we need to understand that there's a time and place, okay? Right post show, I do not care. You should not be one day post show going and hitting PRs, okay? That's doing more harm than good. Yes, you want to be in the gym right away. I've had times post show where I didn't hit the gym for a week, and there's times post show where I was in the gym right after, but you need to understand that your entire body was under so much stress for 16, 20 plus weeks that you need to be in the gym slowly getting back into it. And if your coach is letting you get in there and be balls to the wall, they need to take a step back and do some reevaluation, because that's like, tell me like your hot take in that, because we see that every day where clients will go from stage to holy shit, hip thrusting 405. What are we doing?
You have just pushed your body into like the most stressful state that it's ever
Mhm.
been, and you have depleted your body of calories and nutrients and fuel for, 3 to 4 months, maybe more. And so for you to just hop right back into your workouts and expect to be like hitting these PRs or forcing your body to try to hit these PRs and just, yeah, balls to the wall training right out of the gate is like truly just doing your body a disservice, because post show, immediately post show is like your time for recovery. You should be going into a health phase, and that health phase might look different for everyone, but regardless, it should be a health phase to make sure that your bloods and your hormones are where they should be, to get your body back up to homeostasis, to dig yourself out of this high cortisol state that you've been in for the last like 12 to 16 to 20 weeks. And
Exactly.
there
And
is
it's,
a time and a place. There is a time
thank
and a
you. Yeah.
place for training hard and balls to the walls, but just make sure that your body is fed and fueled and healthy before doing so. Because, I mean, regardless of your training intensity in the gym, like your body is not going to build muscle and recover properly until it is in that state of like homeostasis. And yeah, post show gains are real, but give yourself like a couple weeks, probably like a month, to replenish and recover after prep, and then really jump into training hard again.
Exactly. Like it's one thing to keep strength during prep, because like if you keep all your strength in prep and only like certain things like went down and it's just like whatever, that's fine to come back and like whatever. But the break is so important that if I'm already yelling like freaking 80s a week pre-show, like just like, I kept my strength like all is good. Right after post-show, I'm already yelling 40s, if at that, okay? I'm trying to regulate my body and all the stress that I've been through, and then a few weeks after, you're gonna take advantage of how primed your body is to make the growth that your body will handle. But if I go back in there, I'm like, yeah, give me the 100-pound dumbbells. I'm breaking a knee. I'm breaking a knee. Like your body's so fragile. Like you don't understand how sensitive your body is at that point. Just as sensitive as if you ate a cupcake every single day post show, that's gonna do something, right? Like you're gonna hold a bunch of water and like whatever because you're right out of show. Can do this, like think about it correlated to your training too. It's gonna do the same thing. So why do we always focus on the food portion post show but not your training as well?
Yeah, but anyway, we digress. That has nothing to do with what we're changing going into the second half of 2026. But yeah, definitely an important thing to remember and note. But yeah, honestly, like kind of like on that note too, like there's a time and a place for being like super locked in and super
Hmm.
regimented. And obviously prep is going to be that time and place. Like yes, in prep, you are locked in, you are dialed, you are tracking your macros to a T. You're only taking your off-plan free meals when your coach tells you to. And this isn't to say in your off season go eat like an animal or an asshole either, but like you do have room for that flexibility, and something that I think both of
Mm.
us have learned is like it's not that deep. Like if you want to take an extra free meal, if you have a 2 week vacation planned, like it is not going to throw you off plan as much as you may think. In fact, it's not going to throw you off plan at all. And taking that step back and taking time away can really, really do you good. Like I just said, I've taken over 2 weeks off the gym, and I think it's honestly really benefited my body. And like now I'm going to be able to go back into the gym and my training like full force again. So yeah, it's really not that deep. I mean, this might just be like a me thing, might be kind of a hot take, but even for me, like in my last prep, I learned that like it's not that deep. Like if I, want to substitute a couple foods like in my regular meals, like as long as I'm still hitting my macros, it's fine. If I want to have like some artificials like 4 weeks out from my show, like it's not that deep, it's fine. Like I'm able to like track it into my macros, and it works for me. And just because I'm saying it works for me, maybe it won't work for somebody else. Everyone's digestion's different, everybody can handle different things. But yeah, moral of the story, it ain't that deep. Go
Yeah.
out for the
And
dinner.
time and place.
Yeah, there's a time and a place to be regimented in your off season, which both of us are in right now for the foreseeable future.
Exactly.
Allow yourself to live life, because life is short. Like you never know when you're gonna get those opportunities again. The obsession with perfect adherence during a phase of the year that is supposed to be about building and recovering is like counterproductive and exhausting. Honestly, it's gonna hold you back more than propel you forward if you're just like constantly stressed about the perfect adherence.
Exactly. And then on that note, we also have detaching self-worth from progress. This is a really
Big
big
one.
one for a lot of people. For a lot of people, which again, it's completely fair because we want to get better day by day. We want to do the things that we said we would do. So we do get to a point where we do attach ourselves a lot to the progress we're making, our check-ins, the scale, and so on. But if it becomes a habit, it can really hurt you mentally. Obviously, like that's going to be the outcome, unfortunately. And for me, it showed up a lot in the beginning because, we're taught that when you're done your reverse, take advantage of your growth season to 100% again. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, we think realistically, right, when we hop into our growth phase, we're growing, we're growing. No, it's just you are growing, yes, but to a certain extent. So when I did see like my glutes not exploding as fast as I thought it would, or like my upper, like whatever the case might have been, and my check-ins were just not to my expectation, which in reality, like I didn't have an expectation because I did not see myself at my fullest potential in my growth phase yet. So there was this expectation that I had that I couldn't even see myself, that I was expecting in every check-in as I go, and it just didn't make sense, where it was just holding me back at a certain point. So with every check-in I sent my coach, it was just negative talk, and I could see it. Like if I scroll back, it's like, oh, like I feel flat, or I feel small, like whatever. And so that was when like it was so constant that I was like, okay, like what is the goal here? Because I see everybody kind of loving their off season, or so it looks like, because that's people are realistically only going to put positive things on their socials. So I was like, okay, for me to have a very successful off season, I need to think of myself in a different light. And so switching my brain from, okay, I hate these check-ins, or so and so's making progress, or they're staying leaner and they're the same amount of weeks post show as me, we look different, like whatever. Switching my mindset from that has benefited me a lot more, and I could finally see that, okay, the expectation that I did have for myself, I kind of see in the mirror now, which has helped a ton, and that's what I want to like carry on for the rest of the year.
And also, in your off-season, progress is slow, right?
Hmm.
Whether you're a bodybuilder or a lifestyle client, like progress is not going to happen overnight, and it's
Hmm.
not until you're in like the deep depths of prep that you really start to see those daily changes, when you're like really, really pushing your body hard and to extremes. And so, yeah, it's like important to recognize and not forget the fact that progress takes time. You're not going to be seeing those daily visual changes. And just because you don't see any drastic changes like within a week does not mean that you are worth less. It does not mean that you are not making any progress. It is not a reason to like shame yourself. And then also like comparison is going to be the biggest thief of joy, and like nobody's journey is linear. Everybody has
Hmm.
different ebbs and flows. Everybody's journey looks different, whether you're a bodybuilder or lifestyle. And so yeah, comparing yourself to somebody else who maybe you competed with, somebody else who's in your coaching community, doesn't matter. Like comparing yourself to anybody else is honestly just gonna like hold you back and really
Hmm.
interfere with your own mindset. So yeah, always focus on yourself, and yeah, looking at your own progress over a long period of time rather than just like on a weekly basis. And yeah, something that like I would say I've struggled with too in the past is kind of like what I touched on at the start of this episode is like feeling like I was holding myself back and I was not worthy if I, went off plan a little bit or if I missed a workout. And yeah, now I've like come to realize that just because I take a step back a little bit does not make me any less of a bodybuilder. It does not make me any less of an athlete. It does not lower my self-worth whatsoever because my self-worth is not attached to the progress that I'm making on a weekly basis. The bigger picture is what matters. And when I look at the bigger picture, I know I'm still progressing and the actions that I'm taking are honestly probably driving that long-term progress farther than if I was to push myself to go to the gym when I'm battling the stampede plague or after like a 12-hour shift when I just know my body is not recovered and exhausted,
Hmm.
or taking that extra free meal because I really wanted to spend that quality time with my family or my friends. Like that matters more, and that is more important to me in terms of self-worth than, weighing out my freaking chicken and rice dinner.
Hmm. Exactly. And replacing the matrix that we now kind of measure how our week was or our check-ins or our progress is a lot different too, at least for me. Like would you say the same for you? Like based
Mm-hmm.
from the beginning of the year, how you would measure a good week compared to now, would it be different for you?
100% because like I remember even like my trip to Miami. It was the first week of January right after New Year's this year, and that was the first trip I've been on since I started bodybuilding where I didn't have a food scale. I honestly just forgot my food scale at home, and when I first got there I'm like shit, like I forgot my food scale. What am I going to do? Anxiety through the roof, stress through the roof. And then I took a step back and I was like, okay, Bella, you've been doing this for so long. You know how to roughly eyeball a portion of food. You're able to look at like a plate of chicken and be like, okay, that's like roughly about like 90, 100 grams of chicken, which you know is about 30, 32 grams of protein. So you have the knowledge and skills to be able to maintain your progress while you're here and not go completely off the walls. You know what foods you need to eat in order to make you feel good. You know what you need to eat around your workouts in order to fuel yourself properly. And if anything, not having your food scale here is going to mean that you are more present in the moment and able to enjoy the trip with your girlfriends more so than if you did have your food scale and were constantly stressing about like trying to weigh out every single meal and going out to dinner, not bringing your food scale with you. But now that it's not just like out of the equation completely, you're able to go and enjoy those dinners that much more. And now moving into the second half of the year, I do have quite a few more trips planned. And will I be bringing my food scale with me? Probably not, because I just want to enjoy myself, and like there's a time and a place for weighing out your food and being on plan, but like I have the knowledge and skills to be able to sustain and continue to make progress even without that tool right now. And don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place to be tracking your food meticulously, and I mean even when I am at home and not traveling, like I'm still tracking my food just to make sure that I am hitting my macros, like rough ballpark where I need to be, just to make sure I am eating enough and eating enough of the right macronutrients. But, otherwise, if somebody asks me to go out for dinner, like, I'm not going to say no just because it's not my, like, weekly free meal time.
Exactly. That's a really good um it's a really good statement to make because I think I did also like learn from when me and Bella started getting closer and stuff, I did see her habits that played into me in a really positive way. And so like when I was taking my free meals, I wasn't like having as much anxiety as I would. You know what I mean? Like we would send each other pictures of our ice cream or our fucking plate of whatever. So I was like, there is because again, I was only used to like one side of um bodybuilders where it's like on 110% or you're low key a failure. Like, like why can't you stick to a meal plan where that meal plan is chicken and rice 25/8, which time and place, time and place, that's a 6 weeks out kind of topic. Thank you so much. Not a 3,800 week out issue. You know what I mean? So obviously that's a really healthy thing to not have anxiety about certain things, and the food scale is a really good example because obviously you do have a change in mindset since then that has benefited you obviously. And I think my matrix of like how I measure a good week has changed from like honestly like I just used to use like my check-in photos and my weight, like that was it. Like if it was off I'd had a horrible week, which is so weird because I would have the best week ever, but then like if it didn't kind of show on the scale or the pictures, then I'd be like, oh, then it's an awful week, which is such a toxic mindset to have. So like right now, honestly, a good week, how I'll be like, okay, this week was really good is how I'm feeling. I'm like, was I bloated constantly because food was irritating me? No, that's a win. Did I get all my meals in? That's a win. You know, like I didn't spike up 5 pounds for no reason, like that's a win. So even if I am using the scale, it's in a positive manner rather than to beat myself up about it. And if the scale is up a pound or two, okay, like I had free meals, maybe I had a lot of sodium on this day, like whatever, but just kind of listening to how my body's feeling and how my training and etc. was is a really good and healthy way to measure how good a week of progress was. And honestly, that's like I'm gonna keep using that because it's done nothing but benefit me. So the switch in mindset was good.
Yes, yes, T. Like say that louder for everyone in the back because
Yeah.
attaching your value of self-worth to the pictures, your check-in
Mm.
pictures, or the number on the scale is one of the absolute worst things you can do because like Rutha just said, if you had a 100% week, you're feeling so good and you checked your boxes, that's what matters.
Exactly.
Rather than the number on the scale because there's so many factors that play into that number on the scale. Maybe, oh, so you just had a shitty sleep, and so you wake up, you take your pictures, and you're holding a little bit more water than normal because you didn't have a good sleep. And because you didn't have a good sleep, the scale's up like a pound and a half or something. That means nothing in the big
Mhm.
picture. That means nothing at all. What matters is how you're feeling, how your food's digesting, how you're sleeping overall, how your energy levels are, how you're showing up in all aspects of your life. Are you firing on all four cylinders? If the answer is yes, then like hell yeah, that is like the biggest win in and of itself. And that's something I preach to my clients all the time too, is like not to attach yourself to that scale or the pictures because yeah, what matters most is how you're feeling internally. And I love that I have been able to rub off on you as well as much
So good, so
flexibility
good.
as
And
you.
that's
So
and
yeah,
that's what you need
so
around
true.
you,
Yeah,
right? So that was a really positive outcome.
yeah,
Honestly, everything about us is positive, guys. It's like sunshine and rainbows.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like something that like I've started to feel myself too lately, which like I don't love this feeling, is like the feeling of burnout too. And so finding ways to incorporate a little bit more balance so that I don't start to despise bodybuilding because bodybuilding truly brings me so much joy and passion. And so the feeling of like getting burnt out is like such a shitty feeling for me. So yeah, trying to just into moving into the second half of this year, just trying to yeah, incorporate some, different forms of movement, whether that be like yoga or Pilates, and just a little bit more like flexibility in my eating and nutrition while still training hard in the gym, while still tracking my macros and being like on track most of the time is I think really going to benefit me and help me in terms of avoiding that true burnout because yeah, the last thing I want is to build up resentment towards something that I really love. So it's important
Yeah.
to recognize when to take a step back and just like incorporate a little bit more variety into your day-to-day life because let's be real, like you can only be meticulous with tracking your macros and like training hard 4 to 5 times, six, even sometimes 6 times a week for so long before you're just like ready to tap out and be like, nah, I'm done. And yeah, I want to go into next season feeling hot and like, the best version of myself and like ready to absolutely crush a prep. And like right now, I'm
Yeah.
not feeling that way. So I know that now is the time for me to take a step back so that I can come back that much stronger.
Exactly. And we have a few that do attach, I mean, sorry, that do relate to that. A few rapid fire questions, since we have a few minutes here, that do correlate to what you just said. And I think it's a really good question to get opinions on because it is a little bit like 50-50 split for some people. Do you think it's even possible to be a serious and committed competitor and fully detach your self worth from the sport? Or is some attachment of self worth like unavoidable? You know what I mean?
I mean, I think some. attachment of self-worth is unavoidable just in the sense that like as a top performing athlete, like you care about your
Mhm.
performance and your gym or your gym. You care about your performance and like your output in the gym and how you ultimately are going to present yourself on stage, right?
Mhm.
But that being said, it doesn't mean that it needs to like completely consume your entire life, which it was for me for a long time. And I've come out the other side of that now and realized that like bodybuilding is not my entire identity. And like anything in life, it should be adding to your life and not taking away from it. So if you find that like, you're missing out on other things in life because of bodybuilding, then I think that's where it's like time to take a step back and reevaluate because yeah,
Yeah.
bodybuilding is nobody's entire identity. Even look at like top Olympians, like they still have a life outside of
Yeah.
the sport. And so yeah, if you're like saying no to opportunities in life or things in life because of bodybuilding, then I think that's when it becomes a little bit of like an over obsession. And don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place to be overly obsessed with it, like in a cut situation, in a prep setting. But as a whole, like this is what the off season's for too, is to be able to dive into other realms of your life, pour into work, for me, into my business, and like showing up as the best coach and continuing to build my business to like elevate my clients' experience, like explore other forms of movement and other hobbies that I have in life to, go on the once in a lifetime trips and vacations, to make those quality memories with friends and family that sometimes may revolve around food in a food setting, sometimes it may not, doesn't matter. Still, you still want to be able to like show up with your most energetic and best self.
Exactly. That's really important, and I don't have much to add to that because that's you took the words right out of my mouth. But yeah, just enjoy. Like even yeah, the top competitors, that's not their whole life per se. Even if like you do get like when you're the top of the top, like you are bodybuilding 25/8, yes, but they still do have an identity away from that, whether it be their family, they're either a mom or dad, or they have a business, or they have whatever it might be. They are not bodybuilding. You know what I mean? Like that's not their whole image because again, they're human first and they have other interests and so on. Even if that might be their passion, their job, and like whatever the case might be, you do need some space from a sport that requires so much of you because this does lead back to the conversation of too much of one thing will be bad for you. But again, even when you see those top competitors doing that, having a life outside of bodybuilding, like even if they are the face of it, let's say, you need to also, as an amateur, not go to that extent because you need to enjoy your amateur days. Like that's like the most fun time because again like when you enter the pro league like there's no hee hee ha ha like you do need to show up and show out on that stage so it's there's a time and place like obviously you do need to still be like serious to make proper growth as an amateur but this is where you get to make your friends in the like place like whatever there's so much more out there for you that if you do take everything too seriously and make it your whole identity you will burn out and not get to the places that you once envisioned for yourself so learn when to pull back and look around you and see what else you were before bodybuilding because you weren't just like nobody let's be honest you had other things but yeah and then our last thing what are you like one thing you're genuinely excited for the rest of the year, like moving on to finish 2026. It can be bodybuilding or out of it too, whatever it is.
I'm genuinely excited just to keep making lifelong memories in my life outside of
Mhm.
bodybuilding because bodybuilding has been like the like center focus of my life for like the past like honestly 4 years, 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And this year I really feel like I've stepped out of that bubble a little bit
Mhm.
and like allowed myself to like go on more trips, just yeah, make more memories like I said in general. Whereas before I would have said no because I've been so overly focused on bodybuilding, which is fine, like
Yeah.
time and a place, but now I'm in a different season of my life. And yeah, I'm just still so excited to continue making those memories and stepping out of my comfort zone in other aspects of my life. Like I said, I still have like many trips planned this year, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm very grateful for the opportunities to be able to travel as much as I do and experiment with some different forms of exercise like I said while still staying on track with bodybuilding, still making progress in terms of bodybuilding. But yeah, just allowing myself a little bit more flexibility in life. And yeah, I'd say the biggest thing is just making memories because life is short. And like, yeah, I'm in my yes girl era. So
I'm in my yes girl.
yeah,
Exactly. That's what we
that's
want to
what I'm
hear.
excited for. Yeah, what about you?
Yeah, mine is saying yes more. Like honestly, that does tie like making
Hmm.
memories too. Because when you say yes more, you do more things, right?
Yeah.
As in inconveniencing myself to go outside of my comfort level, because if, hey, like I actually can't work out today because I have to go do like whatever. I signed up to go skydiving, by the way. That's my one yes thing.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I went skydiving 3 years ago, and it was the most like epic feeling I've ever experienced. It feels like,
I need to feel that.
yeah,
So
it's
that's why.
because you're just like one with the birds and the bees, right? Like for that
You're
like
one with the birds, guys.
for the 30 seconds that you're like free falling, it feels like the longest 30 seconds of your life, by the way. It just feels like nothing matters in the world. Literally, like anything that's causing you any sort of stress in your life just like does not matter, just is gone for like that 30 seconds just because you're literally like in the air, like free falling. It's like nothing else matters. You
Yeah.
will be screaming for your life, but like
I
it is
might pass out. I might pass out,
one
but
of
that's
the
okay.
most incredible. Wait,
Yeah.
this girl cannot even come in my apartment because I live
This is my
on
therapist, actually. My therapist told me that to confront the fear, I have to do this because, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I genuinely canceled trips this year because I could not fly. Like, I could not do it.
I hope that this exposure therapy helps you because
Or it might do worse. I'm going to be honest with you. We'll see.
you don't
It
have
might
a
do
choice when you
worse.
get up there and the
Huh?
instructor like straps you
You
to
can't say no, thank you?
they just yeet you out of that plane whether you're ready or not. So,
So it might traumatize me as well. Okay. Yeah.
but
I'm only doing this so I can be able to live in Bella's apartment when I need to without feeling like I'm gonna die. So, if you guys didn't know, she's one with the birds, actually.
I
She is really
okay,
far up there.
not quite that bad, not quite that bad, but
Yeah,
everybody
so
loves my
that's
floor to ceiling windows. Literally everybody that comes over is like, "Oh my God, it's so gorgeous."
it's cute.
This was
I
on the
think it's
board,
so
and
cute.
then Ruth is like, "Nope, give
I
me."
think it's so cute for you. 100% for you.
Yeah,
I like to be by the ground,
I
but
love a view.
yeah,
Love me a view. But anyway, we will wrap
it's
things up here.
yeah.
I think, yeah, core message, honestly, guys, like doing things differently doesn't always mean doing more. Like
Mhm.
what we realize is often it does mean actually doing less, just listening more. What does your body need? What does your mind need? What is actually going to fill your cup right now? And yeah, just giving yourself permission to just be you, live your life, and yeah, be a person. Like, not everything has to revolve around your fitness journey, whether that be bodybuilding or just
Exactly.
lifestyle fitness focus. So, yeah, I would love to hear what you guys are doing differently going to the second half of 2026. Like, please DM us, comment, share.
No,
Would love to hear. Yeah, but we're going to go crush these next
humans.
5.5 months.
Yeah, we're done basically this whole year. I'm so
Wow.
excited.
Okay, no, I'm not ready for summer to be over. So we're gonna go live in the
Oh,
moment and yeah, make the most of the rest of summer and the rest of 2026. Thanks so much for tuning in and catch us on next week's episode.
guys.